Welcome to the Kickstart Your Edge Play to Win Leadership Podcast,
where we've flipped the script with our groundbreaking modus operandi to bring you real, relevant, and relatable tactics and techniques to master your own play to win mindset.
Talk about a superpower. It's time to iron your cape.
What we know for sure is what got you here won't get you there.
You can't see the spinach in your own teeth.
And finally, hang on, because this one is really deep. Once you realize that you are the traffic, everything makes complete and unadulterated sense.
Welcome to The Edge, where playing not to lose is not an option.
You know, Karen, it's so funny that to get ready to record this episode, you actually said, don't forget to turn on your do not disturb buttons.
Right. And click on the focus.
I know. And it's interesting because our computers are set up to be able to click a button to say, I'm ready to focus. So please no noises. Don't let me know when email comes in. Have everything turned off. And if it was only that simple, Karen Sullivan, only that simple.
Yeah, good luck with that.
So we are going to be talking about focus today. And it's interesting because focus is important on many, many different levels. And sometimes I find focus to be rather elusive, a little bit non-tangible, hard to get a hold of. And I would say it's fair to say that over the last maybe couple of weeks, I feel like some of my standard focus habits are a little bit sloppy, a little bit misguided. What are you laughing at, Karen?
Well, I'm just laughing and I'm thinking, I wonder what the correlation is between finding a crumble cookie fairly close.
Well, that's a really good point, right? So yes, crumble cookies, if you haven't been, they are amazing. They're expensive and they're worth it. However, and here's a side tip for you. Don't be fooled by how many calories they say are in them. Because I'm looking, I'm like, that's not bad. 150 calories, 200 calories. That's amazing for this really huge cookie. And then I went to the website and they say per serving and they say each cookie serves 4. But I digress. So the reason Karen's bringing that up is we have discovered crumble cookies and have enjoyed a few of them. And I started to wonder if intake of sugar was actually affecting my focus. Was intake of sugar actually affecting my sleep that affects my focus? So there's a whole bunch of interesting things that Karen and I have been riffing around on the home front when it comes to focus. And it's interesting because I'm like, you know what it's time for? A little big brain experiment. And what we mean by that is that with me trying to want to maximize my focus, it's going to take some energy and some effort to understand my relationship with focus right now. And so I really,
hey Jen, I'm just gonna call timeout for 1 sec.
Okay.
If you were to sit here and say though, what does focus mean to you? What does it mean?
What I'm talking about with focus is being able to sit down and efficiently complete tasks. To be able to say, all right, it's time to work and I want to do X, Y, and Z, and then actually do it and not get sidetracked by social media or procrastinating or rabbit holes. Being able to sit down, execute, and move. It's about, I'm going to just go on apparently for a while about this. It's about not forgetting what my goals are. Like, all of a sudden being like, oh, shoot, that's right. I really did want to do that. And I skipped it today. It's about remembering to take my vitamins. I mean, it can be anything, right? So it's basically identifying what's important to me and then how do I ensure and support myself to be able to efficiently and effectively stay focused on those things.
I think a big part of what you just said too is how do you eliminate what I like to call the noise, right? So how do you eliminate the noise? And how do you eliminate the distractions? And I think that that's a really good exercise for people to do, to really define like what their noise is. So for you, like you just said, social media is your noise. So how do you sit here and say, okay, great, this is the list of the noise that I need to shut off so I can focus on this for X amount of time. And I think that the X amount of time piece of it is really important, because you can't sit here and say, okay, great, I'm going to be focused for the next 2 hours. That's just silly, because it's not going to work. And I think that even as you go on through the day, there's this study that I was reading not that long ago, and it really talks about that, if you want to make smarter decisions all day long, that you have to really think about managing what they were calling your attention fatigue. And basically it's about how you make better, decisions technically in the morning. And that the more the decisions that you make during the day, the harder each one is actually on your brain. So you're more likely to think something through and make a good decision in the morning before you're, mentally tired.
Yeah, I think that totally makes sense. And I love that, right? So part of this is doing an evaluation, as Karen said, about what noise is going on in your head that's distracting you from what you say you really want. How do you keep your brain alert and eager and ready to go? How do you get your brain to support you with the things that you want? And that's what I was sort of alluding to, is that I was telling Karen, I'm like, I really want to study my relationship with focus. When do I have it? When don't I have it? What's going to help me get it? What are some things I could tweak, eliminate, do differently in order to have more focus? All of those things. And so that's when we were talking about the big brain experiment, right? So back in 2017, we did a 30-day experiment with a whole bunch of our friends and people and people who signed up for it, where we had 3 classes, and then we also had a daily email that really focused on changing our brain and what could we accomplish in 30 days by focusing on 5 particular areas of it. And it was pretty amazing because people learned a lot, right? So just with 30 days of the big brain experiment, people were able to, someone learned how to draw. A couple people actually lost weight by being more mindful.
Jen, I got to tell you, I think a lot of people lost weight because it was just more intentional about what they were doing. And this is that whole focus we're talking about. So I think that truly, I think a lot of people actually lost weight.
They did, right? Some people started meditating. Some people learned new hobbies. It was a very interesting way to say, if I was to spend 30 days to understand and help support my brain, be alert and focused, what could be possible? I personally learned how to juggle, Karen.
You did. And
so did you.
I did. We should find that video at some point and post it somewhere, because that's actually very funny.
It's a great video of me juggling. The problem is, being a podcast, it's audio only. So I'm not sure exactly how that all comes together, but you can just imagine it was entertaining. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
I love it. So it's interesting. So part of my focus is to start to do this 30-day experiment. We're going to have a new experiment starting on May 1st, which we'd love for you to be a part of. But I'm going to start it a little bit early so that I can start to gather my own research and data, because I am ready to get my focus on, Karen.
All right, Jen, let's do it.
All right. So if you want to know a little bit more about the Big Brain Experiment, you can go to www.kickstartyouredge.com/BBE. Check it out. We'd love to have you join us. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Kickstart Your Edge Play to Win Leadership Podcast.
Craving more? Of course you are.
Check out our website at kickstartyouredge.com,
where we fire you up, fan the flames of your competitive edge culture, and ignite your tenacious pursuit of an all-out play-to-win mindset.